I mentioned this is my last show? It is now, bitch.
No, we're live.
Whatever.
We're live. Oh no! I pushed the button right before you said that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the failing and falling apart Space Game Junkie podcast. I don't know what it'll be called next week, but this week we're the Space Game Junkie podcast. As always, your co-host Brian, joining us for his last show.
Yeah, it's going to be like Giant Bomb, like everybody but Brian quits. And just like, oh, it's been a good run.
Oh no. Your co-host Jim.
It's kind of.
I
too am not going to be here next Friday.
And the only thing that could top that is...
At least give me notice.
Oh my God. I couldn't even believe that went on. I mean, it's like...
What?
What are you
talking
whole
about?
Giant Bomb thing, like where
I don't listen
basically
I don't
everybody left except for the guy that runs it.
Oh,
pretty much. Yeah. Jeff Gersman from GameSpot. Yeah, GameSpot.
Oh, that guy.
I keep wanting to say GameStop, and it's like, no, that's the failing retail, not the failing website. So, yeah, no. It was, so the deal was they all worked at GameSpot, and then there was some issues, right? Like if you remember, it was the Kane and Lynch review, and he gave it a negative review. So because they had actually like bought the wrapper thing for the site, like the whole website was Kane and Lynch themed, and then he gave the game a negative review. So then GameSpot came in and was like, everybody's fired. Right? So it was like when he left, and then all of his friends went with him, and they started Giant Bomb as like their own thing, and they actually did it in the Quarter to 3 forum. If you like spin back those posts like 10 years or so to when Jeff was hanging out with us in there.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, that was kind of like, it was like, hey guys, we got this idea, and then it kind of like they disappeared and then showed up as Giant Bomb.
Forums are like Reddit. You have to know which areas to avoid in order to have the most fun.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've curated my Reddit to where I can like get away from all that.
God, yeah.
Literally my Reddit feed is all but like games and like tech, and it's just like, oh, this is nice.
I use multi-Reddit in this app, and it's just all these specific subreddits in one feed, and that's it. Welcome back, Hunter. After being away for a while.
How have you been since the last 5 years? It's been a while.
Now joining us in Ohio. You moved in 2019 and joining us again.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, the longest move
ever. There's a short and long story to all that, but like it's been a weird ride because when my wife and I first moved down to North Carolina to be closer to my side of the family for a while, the apartment that we were living in at the time was like raising its rent as they do, right?
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, we need to go find another place, and so we wanted to go like live outside of the main city loop. So we got a hold of a couple of our friends that we were pretty close with, and we're like, hey, let's go find like a big old house out in the suburbs and just like screw the city. And so we did that. And then when we were there, one of our roommates ended up getting engaged, and then the other roommate wanted to go live with her boyfriend. So it was like, well, time to move again. So after 2 years of that, we moved into our apartment. And then like a year and a half later, we decided to move closer to my wife's family up here in Ohio, which is our old stomping grounds. It's kind of where we met and got married, and so it's just kind of like the places, so, there's a large community here of people that we already know. So it made things really easy. But we needed to find a place where we could have with our dog, and we weren't looking to buy right now, and so, we had to find a place, but since it's smaller lifestyle, because you're out in the country, you're not living in a city, at least we're not living in a city, places to find where we could actually have a pet and rent were kind of hard. But thankfully, though, we knew some people who had a place, and so but they still had like a month of getting it ready after we're already here. So we stayed in some temporary housing and had some poor internet, and here we are. I am now in my house on my rig. I'm actually playing games on my computer. 6
Yay.
monitors
with actual internet.
With actual internet.
We'll have to put now that you're back in business, we'll have to put Star Trek Bridge Crew, kind of leading to our topic, back on the menu.
Yes. You, sir, need to still figure out how to stream that stuff.
I look at the stream. I have mostly figured it out. Finally. Mostly.
Sort of.
It took to the last show, and he finally figured it out.
It's tricky. It's honestly tricky. Also joining us is your co-host Spaz.
Hello.
And folks, if you're wondering, the game that I'm streaming is called In Death Unchained. It is an Oculus game. That's amazing.
So this is pre-recorded.
This is pre-recorded. No, I'm not low. I could do this live, but that'd be tough. But I did figure out how to stream Steam games. You have to get a OpenVR plugin for OBS and use that. And once you have that set up, it's not that hard. But it took me forever.
Really? Because I thought all those games had like a window that was a repeater of what was in the headset was on the screen.
Some of them do, and some of them don't. It's not consistent. Some of them, like, they're full screened on the monitor and in your headset. Some of them are in a window and then in your headset. Some of them are just in your headset. So that's it's not consistent. That was one of the biggest problems I had, is that it wasn't consistent. So that OVR plugin for OBS really does the trick. But here I'm using the Oculus Quest 2's stream capabilities to stream to a Chrome browser, and then I used OBS to capture that. I'm figuring it out because
it's interesting how the Oculus Quest has built in with Google. You can actually stream to like a Chromecast or a Chrome browser. So if you have a Chromecast hooked up to your TV, you can stream your gameplay there. So that, like, if you're like, partying with other people and they're like, hey, try this VR thing, you can see what they're watching on your TV, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it is really cool. Like, I've watched my wife's workouts, and she's watched mine through that because it's kind of fun to watch. But folks, tonight we're going to talk about VR. And I wanted to wait till Hunter came back to talk about VR because it's his fault that I got into VR. It's your fault. Entirely your fault.
Welcome.
You convinced me to get an Oculus Quest 2 a couple of months ago. And before that, I was like, fuck VR. Excuse my language. Frack VR. Because it's like, it's just a fad. It's just a toy. No one really needs it. And no one really needs it. Yeah, that's not, I still feel that way. But now let's take. Go ahead.
No, go keep going.
I was going to say, now that I've played it, I see the appeal, All
right. Well, then after you just said that, let's take this into consideration. So,
sure.
On another, this actually came up on another show that Jim and I are in, where there's a statistic that was put out that for Steam, that 60% of VR users on Steam are using an Oculus Quest.
Quest 2?
60%. Yeah. Or I think it's just like an Oculus something.
Because I remember reading that the Quest the Quest 2 has sold more than all of their previous headsets combined.
It's making a lot of big waves because of course they've got the Facebook money feeding it, right?
Right.
But that's why they're able to put out a device at such a low cost. Now, of course, it's not like the highest end, VR out there. It's not the
Steam, whatever the Steam thing is called. I forget. That thing's pretty powerful, or isn't one of the
right? But the thing with the quote unquote more powerful devices out there is that they are all like sensor. You're like physically hardwired in.
Yeah, don't they have to set up sensors in the room to use?
Yeah, you got to put those lighthouse things up on the wall, and then you have to, like the old Oculus, even you had to have a camera that you'd put like on a tripod.
Yeah, I've got a Gen 1 Oculus as well, and there's two little it's not a camera. It looks like a camera. It's like these little cylindrical things on top of a pole. So it looks like a camera, and they're essentially sensors as well. And I had to have you have to have at least, if you're just using the headset, you need one. But if you're using the hand controls, you need 2 of the sensors to track where your hands
what? Oh, come on.
Well, this is Gen 1, right? So the interesting thing is they've moved on from that to the Rift S, which is what Jim has. And then they did the Quest, and now they've done the Quest 2. Now, the interesting thing with the Quest 2 and, of course, the S is they have like infrared sensors on the outside of them that are like IR cameras. And they've gone to the point where you could actually use your hands as the controls, right? So like you can do hand motions so it'll actually track your hands. So you don't even need the controller at that point. I have found that feature personally not to be
it's not super
accurate.
Reliable. Yeah, it's not
right.
Yeah.
So I still like to use the hand controls because that's where I get the most fun out of it. But the entry level on the cost, though, right? That $300 roughly price point of
it's amazing.
Getting on the Quest 2 really makes it, and that it's compatible with all of the PC stuff, which means that anything that you can find like that's on itch that's free, or anything that you can find on Steam that's free, or any like random weird website that you can find that has, because like the Blade Runner thing, right, where it's like Deckard's apartment, you can like walk through that. Someone built that. That's not on any known platform that I'm aware of. I think that's like a third-party site that you have to go to. But if you fire that up, it'll notice your Quest, and you can just like use your Oculus to walk around this VR environment. So that's the amazing thing. So you're not just locked into the Quest 2's internal ecosystem, which it has. Right. It can be because it's portable, right? You can take it anywhere.
Just not outside. Don't take it outside, people. If you get one, sunlight will kill this thing. Do not take it outside. If you get one, just don't.
But yeah, they are really clever devices, and I'm actually now that I'm settled into my new place finally, I've got a little bit more room to spread out, and they've been making tons of improvements with the streaming features. So you no longer have to be tethered to your PC to play the PC stuff. You can stream it right to the headset. And I've done a little bit of it with Half-Life Alyx,
right.
And my goodness, it's really good.
Okay, I have questions about. Okay, so the Rift S that I have is like 1440p or whatever. So the Quest 2 is the same resolution, I believe, right?
It's just Rift under. S. I'm not sure. I think it's higher than that actually. I think it's like
19 something. I think.
Yeah, I think it's almost 4K. It's just under 4K if I'm not mistaken.
I'll look.
It's like you get almost no screen door effect with the Quest 2.
Oh, okay. So there's barely any with the Rift S as well. But the beef that I have with the Rift S and why it's been in the closet for years because I got my triple monitor set up, and that takes up all 3 of my HD ports, or the my DV, whatever the hell those ports are called.
DisplayPort.
Yeah, DisplayPort. So yeah, so it's like all 3 of my display ports are taken up by that. So kind of sucks.
So real quick, the resolution is it's a 90 hertz, 1440 by 1600 per eye for
1832 by 1920 per eye.
Right, 1832 by 1920 per eye.
Wow, that's damn near double what the Rift S is, I think. So okay.
It's shockingly powerful. Like, I am really impressed at how good everything looks in the damn thing.
Yeah, that's a heck of a thing. So my question then is the detriment of the Rift S, right? The reason that I haven't been using it is because of the tether. Because I have to be continuously, I have a display port and a USB that has to be in the PC. It's about 6 feet long, but the PC is about 6 feet away from me. So it's just kind of like, don't scoot back from the desk too far, kind of deal. Kind of sucks. So I would consider a Quest 2 just for the ability to just use it anywhere, right? Like I could just be in any room and use that thing. But I saw where they were selling a digital display cable that you were supposed to use with the PC, which then reintroduces the tether problem.
Well,
but I've heard from people you can do Wi-Fi over like a 5Gen, Wi-Fi.
So when I bought,
does it lag at all?
No,
or is it just indistinguishable?
It can.
Me personally, I have not noticed a lag. So like if you have the 5G at home, right? Like the 5 gigahertz band at home.
Yeah.
You connect to that and you're not, in my opinion, you're not going to see anything. Like
I see it very little. Yeah, myself, and I'm on 5G. It really depends on your where you are and how close you are to your router, the strength of your wireless signal, whether you're using 5G or 2G, that sort of thing. But I get
there's two methods, right? So there was before Oculus implemented they actually now officially support the wireless streaming, whereas they didn't before.
Yeah, AirLink.
So the AirLink now exists. But when I first got mine, you actually had to put your Oculus in dev mode, install the remote desktop application and sideload, blah 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 blah. So like it got pretty nuts. But like when I was using the sideloaded stuff, it was fine. So
now if you use the official thing, is it like you've got Oculus installed on your PC?
Yeah.
You turn the headset on, and then in the headset you have to select like link to the PC, and then it just boom happens, right?
Well, there are two methods to do it. The first one is this thing called Virtual Desktop, which is a $20 app. Which
is what I was talking about, yeah.
Which is what I've been using, and I love it. It's great. Basically, you install a small app on your PC, and then you connect that app to your PC through the Oculus Quest 2, and you can just then run Steam VR, and you're good to go, or any VR game, really, and you're good to go. But they recently launched the beta of what they're calling AirLink, which is very similar to Virtual Desktop, but it's Oculus's own thing. And so far, I have found it, because it's still in beta, it's not as good as Virtual Desktop, in my opinion. At least not yet. Maybe it probably will be at some point. But there are two methods to do it with. And when I got my Quest 2, I actually bought the Link cable. It's an $80 cable. It's like 16 feet long. It's like really.
Yeah, I bought it as well.
Yeah, it's a USB-C. It's a USB-C cable, and it's super long. It's actually like it's like the highest quality USB cable I've ever seen in my life. I don't use it very often, actually. I think because most of the games I've used for VR are stand-up, like room scale games. So like I can't be at my PC really because I'd hit everything. So I got to use the wireless. But
see, I'm more of like a seated experience person, right? Like
I thought I would
room scale stuff. Well, room scale stuff, it's cool as long as I'm not having to like do squats while I'm playing the game, because it's just like, oh, you want to duck behind something. And it's like, if I'm doing squats, I'm doing that for bits on Twitch. It's not going to happen for free in the game. I love
doing that. There's this game I streamed the other day called Compound, which is this amazing first-person shooter on Steam, and you could actually take cover behind these like concrete
I really want to
barricades.
get that. I was looking at that. That looked really good.
Good, dude. It is tied for my top VR game with the one I'm streaming here. Like, it's so good.
Well, other place the Tether screwed with me, right, is I forget which game it was. It was one of the Arma type military combat games that's on Steam for VR. And but that was the thing, right? Was like you want to lean around a corner, you got to actually lean. And then if you want to crouch behind something, you got to actually crouch, right? And there's a lot of crouching and leaning that's going on. And at that point it's like, and I got this HD cable hanging off of me, and then if I turn around, I'm wrapped up in it, like a dog going around a tree with a leash, and it's just like, it's not working. But the Quest, that might get it done. But other than that, I was kind of a seated person, right? It's just like,
I mean,
let me
I've
play
done
DCS, let me play whatever.
I've done some seated stuff, and like when I first got the Quest 2, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll try Elite. I guess I'll try Squadrons in VR to see how they look. Oh, this is nice. I'll fly around a bit. Okay, I still don't care about the gameplay. It looks nice.
It's definitely, and it's definitely an experience. I mean, it's something worth trying. You know, someone's like, I love playing Squadrons in VR, and I'm like, yeah, but like that can get old really fast. Like once the novelty of like just being in an X-wing in VR, like it's cool, but like after a while, it's just like you're like, all right, now what do I do?
I'll tell you where VR is just freaking amazing.
Tell you what. Sorry.
Oh God, that's a side meme. Anyways, so yeah, where it's great, right, is flight sims and racing sims.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Because racing sims, because you got the depth, right, and it's like I'm not just watching the brake lights of the car in front of me, but I actually can see it get closer, so I know how far I am. So my braking is way better, and I took maybe like a second and a half off my lap times in VR.
I believe it.
Speaking of, we're talking about like VR support and stuff like that. I was noticing my Evercron Legacy just updated, and I was like, I wonder what they did.
Oh, I was about to talk about that.
He added VR controller support for the experimental VR mode that he's got going on, so that's cool.
And it works pretty well. You basically use the grip controller to cycle through what's a joystick and what's a throttle. So you can be a left-handed joystick and a right-handed throttle if you want, or two joysticks if you want.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it works really well. I've flown at least a few missions with it now, and then there's also because before this I played a little bit. I'm like, there's no way I could play this because how am I going to use the mouse to select the map or anything? But now with the controller, you hit the B button and it turns into a cursor, and you can just use the VR controller to select the map or the trade screen or whatever. So you're still in your cockpit. You don't have to leave, and it's so fantastic. It is so fantastic. So yeah, that is definitely worth trying. That is a game, because I don't have good Wi-Fi reception here. That is a game I tethered myself to the PC for.
Oh, I see the Forest has a VR mode now. Brian, you should play the Forest in VR.
I don't trust you.
It's a forest. What could happen? What could be wrong?
Do you know I hate forests? Ever since I was a Boy Scout and used to go camping, I hate forests. I hate them. And then I saw the Blair Witch Project, and I was like, I'm never going into the woods again. Ever.
Oh, this will make Blair Witch pretty sedate, bro.
Especially at night.
Yeah, this is like Blair Witch with screaming cannibal zombies chasing you.
Yeah, no. Not.
It's pretty chill.
Not playing that. So Spaz,
the vaporwave of zombie games.
So Spaz, you're the one among us that has the PlayStation VR.
Yep.
And what has your experience been with that? I mean, we've played Bridge Crew with you, but what else have you played with that on the PlayStation?
There are a few games that I've played. There's one called Raw Data, which got a PC port, and since it came out, it's kind of aged poorly because a lot of the tech has kind of moved on past. A lot of the game mechanics have also moved on past what it was doing. But played a lot of Tetris Effect in VR.
That's
very, very fun.
That is. I have played the PC because you convinced me to get it. And wow, yeah, that one's great. Yeah, I can.
Great soundtrack too.
Oh God, I bought the soundtrack for that one.
I listen to it regularly.
Yeah, it's a great soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack. It's interesting though. I don't know if you've had this experience. You were just you kind of segged into what I was going to talk about next, Spaz. Because when I first got VR, I'm like, I have all these VR games on Steam. I should try a bunch of them. And it's interesting what has aged well for VR and what hasn't, or what like was really competently made for VR and what wasn't. You know, like I tried some games. I don't remember their names now, but I was like, wow, this is terrible. Like, who thought this is a good VR game?
Well, you know, as funny as it is, we could always go back and try Eve Valkyrie now.
Is that still running? Wait a minute. That's still running even. Hang on, I'm gonna look.
You can still play it. But the other thing I was gonna say was oh shoot, what was that other game that in VR?
I'm seeing if it's still running.
Well, there's House of the Dying Sun.
Is that VR?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'll have to try that one.
Yeah, that was one of the first space games in VR, actually. They've got that really expensive Battlezone that's in VR.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's Battlezone. That was the other one I was trying to think of.
So it's funny. I loaded up Battlezone, and it's like push tab to center your screen. I'm like, I can't see the tab button. What is this?
Yes.
What is this?
There. That's my other issue, right? Is because I want to use VR, and I would like it to be like a full-time deal, because you can set up, you know, like the whole room is a monitor, right? I can just hang screens up on the wall.
Yeah, you can.
And do whatever, right? And it's great. The problem is finding your keyboard, finding your mouse, not knocking your coffee off your desk when you're hunting for it. The phone is ringing. Oh God, how do I answer it? Right? Those things. So it's just like they have those cameras on there, and if I could toggle it, like just touch if I touch the temple of the Oculus, right? Just have like a little touch sensor there that actually flips those cameras on, even for like the lower half of the screen, and then I can just figure out where the hell I am and then touch it and shut it off. Right? That would be fun. Little feature request there.
Can't the Oculus Quest 2 do that? I read somewhere like if you tap it twice or something, it'll show you the cameras. It'll show you what's in front of you. I think
maybe. Tap it where though?
That's I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up. But I that was one of the reasons I didn't play Evercrown Legacy for a while, because it was the same thing. Like I can't through the silicon guard on my headset see anything below my nose. And the keyboard's all the way over there. So.
Yeah. Well, I had considered actually like trimming that silicon thing off at the bottom, right? Just like give myself a place to like look straight down my cheeks, and I could see, you know, like tilt my head up a little bit, and I could see in front of me a little bit. That would be okay, right? If that was like a removable piece that I could put in or not.
So here's the thing about pass-through. So you, like I was trying to say earlier in our little side chat, if you move just outside of the play area, so like if you're seated, it'll put like a circle around you. And if you like roll just a little bit back behind you, or if you just move to the edge of that, it'll turn your AR stuff on. So
yeah,
like,
it's called the Guardian. Yeah. And if you pass through that, it'll show you what's it called? Pass-through mode. But I thought there was a way to activate it as well.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, if you, according to this, by pass-through by tapping the side of your headset twice, double tap the side of your headset again to return to VR. I have not tried that.
I have not tried that either.
I've got my Quest right here, and while I'm on with you guys...
So does it give you like a transparent view? Live. Is it like half game, half? Okay.
No. It's full transparent.
It's full cameras.
So it takes the game away and replaces it with the camera. It doesn't blend it.
But it's only meant to be It's only meant to be used momentarily, I think.
But the blending thing though would frustrate the crap out of me, because your eyes might not be able to adjust with that.
Agreed.
Well, how does like mixed reality shit work? Like with the Microsoft headset that
so the augmented reality stuff, it overlays things on top of what you're looking at. So if you're looking at the table, it puts whatever you're looking at on top of the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's fine, right? It would just be like I could still have the UI from whatever I'm doing, right? Like I could have the room around me visible, but if I have desktop windows pinned up in the air, I could see them. That would be great. Or I could just like fully immerse and just have wallpaper as a background. That I'd be fine with that. But those are IR cameras, so they're not going to give you like a really good look around. So just orientation is good enough. I don't know. Did you try the double tap yet?
I'm turning it on. Chill.
Yeah, it takes a minute.
You gotta talk to it in sultry tones.
Mine's in the other room.
Right.
I have.
So the AR thing's actually pretty good because if you have to play in a well lit room anyway because of the IR sensors to begin with.
Yeah.
So you need light anyway. So like if you have to like use the IR cameras to see what you're looking at, I mean, it looks fine to me.
Did the double tap work, or haven't you tried it yet?
Oh, Jesus Christ, both of you.
I thought you were
what about
talking
now?
about you could see it right now. I thought. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking in the present tense.
I have it on, but I have to create the Guardian. So like when you turn it on, you have to like, go
you gotta. Oh, there's the floor. There's the Guardian.
It's like Destiny, right? Like your ghost pops out and it's like, Guardian, we must go.
It's like those Titanfall 2 levels where you see your ghost running along the wall. It's like, oh, that's where I have to go.
You know what I would really love to do? The way that Guardian thing works, where you just like point with the little laser and you draw a line. Like, this is where I want. So let me run around my whole house and draw lines. Like, here's all my walls. Here's where all my furniture is, and then just turn my whole house into like a Minecraft
bet you
world.
money they'll eventually. I bet you money they'll eventually do that. The Guardians right now are like room specific. So if you leave one room and go to another, you'd have to set another one up.
All right. So I'm in the thing.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's in the thing.
It's not.
Huh.
I'm not. It's not. I don't think it's doing it. Do I have to tap
Well-
on the front of the thing? It doesn't say where to tap it.
Probably on the temple, I would think.
Double tap.
That's where the strap. Now, Spaz, I don't know if this is an issue for you, but did you find the PSVR comfortable from jump, or did you have to futz with it or get anything?
Even
for
with
it?
my glasses, yeah, it was comfortable, very, very comfortable to wear for extended periods of time.
That's
nice.
my other question about the Rift 2, the Go.
See, that's good.
Whatever the
because
hell that thing is, because
Quest 2?
Quest 2 was
yeah.
not. It's very front heavy, and the standard strap. With the standard strap, it will start sliding off your face. So what I did is they have other straps you can get for it, like the Elite strap, which is kind of like this dome that screws to the back. Like, it uses a screw and a dome that like tightens to your head. I got a thing on Etsy that I can loop a external battery to the back of my strap as a counterweight. And that like made it so much more comfortable. Like, I could not use it without that counterweight. You know,
Mine's got the battery pack counterweight on mine too. So I've got like the extended battery. I really like it.
Do you have the Elite strap with the extended battery? Or did you get? Oh, okay. You have the expensive one. That's like $100. That's $100 some bucks. Now mine was like a $40 Etsy thing.
Yeah. See, the thing is I went all out on mine. I decided like, this is what I really want. I dropped the thing. This is what I really want, and so I did it.
Well, I was gonna say, even without that Elite strap, I've gone out all on mine too. I got a padded thing I added to the strap, and little clips for the cables, and silicone covers for the controllers.
So that head ring
prescription
that
lenses,
PSVR has
prescription lenses.
Yeah, that's another thing I'd need to do if I was using it a lot.
Worth
but
it.
But that plastic halo, right? And then the thing hangs off the front of that is how the PSVR works. That's how the Rift S works as well. So it does not touch my face. I can stick a finger between it and my face, and like that way it doesn't like smash my glasses into my nose and all that.
Oh, see.
But that's been my holdup on the Quest as well, is like if they told me you can unbolt the Rift S out of that mount and then put the Quest 2 in it, I'd probably be on my way down to Best Buy right now to get one, because my wife says I wouldn't, so she knows. But it's the thing, like that comfort level, that's like, if it was less comfortable than that, I probably wouldn't use it.
Yeah, it's.
So-
I don't know if they planned that out the gate. With the counterweight that I bought, the standard strap is just fine. But I know people who like they found the standard strap to be like knives on their head, and so they had to get the elite strap or some other kind of there. There is an entire.
Does it like? Because the original one like clamped down on your cheeks, right? And it was like the bridge of your nose and your cheeks is what held that thing up, and people hated that. So is this like same pressure spot or no?
It's weird to say. Like if you're not using a counterweight, it is very front heavy. So if you don't have that strap real tight, it will just start falling off your face. So you have to make it really tight. But with the counterweight. With the counterweight, you don't have to make it so tight, so it's not so front heavy, so it's not falling off your face all the time. The sad thing is, the only downside is the standard strap doesn't have any kind of counterweight. So unless you can get either the elite strap with it or another counterweight type thing with it, like a battery pack. There are a lot of battery packs for it that make it a counterweight, like what I've got.
Because the default thing, it just reminds me of whenever in Weird Science they were putting brassieres on their heads, and it was just kind of it doesn't look comfortable. Yeah,
I know a lot of people like Iceberg here who has the Vive Deluxe audio strap, jury rigged into their Quest 2. That thing has like its own headphones and stuff, and apparently that thing it's about $100, but these things have their own ecosystem. Like a huge ecosystem. Like
I've been playing Vader Immortal, and that's pretty awesome.
Oh God, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about accessories.
It's like an iPhone for your face.
I just bought. I'm not gonna lie. I just bought a face mask that I put over my face, so I'm not gonna sweat all over the damn thing. And I bought a cloth cover for the Oculus itself, so I don't sweat all over the damn thing.
You gonna put googly eyes on the front too?
You can. There are decals. There are hundreds of decals you can get for the Quest 2. You can get lions and tigers and eyes and all sorts of things. Yes, it's insane.
Joan wants to know, because you're talking about like you got a balaclava and then you put that thing on. She's like, can you wear it to rob a bank? They'd never know who you were, but you'd never see what you were doing.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea because that thing will fall off pretty easily if you move around a lot. That thing will probably just fall right off. Unless you make.
I was just gonna say the reason why it's probably not working for me is I don't have the latest update, so I've been out of touch for a while, so I'm letting this thing update.
But I've never been able to get it to work either, and I do have it, so I don't know. But it's like when you get a good VR game, it's really amazing. Like the guy who made the, if you can remember, it's the Battle for Soul or Soul Exodus or whatever. He made a game called Ultra Wings, which is this little like it's a flight sim, but it's a casual. Not super casual, but it's a casual flight sim where you fly like paragliders and small planes. And it's amazing. Like that came out years ago and it's amazing. Like use the grip, use the controller. And you don't even have to hold onto the grip button. You can just toggle it and it's holding the stick and suddenly you're using the thing as a stick. You're flying around.
So if you like Ultra Wings, take a look at VTOL VR.
Oh, I have it. I'm terrible at it. But
I am.
But I can't wait till they finish it because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
That game is that's one of the first games I bought when I got VR.
To me, the coolest thing in that game is when you want to get on voice comms, you actually have to reach up and grab the walkie-talkie.
Really?
Or it's the CB.
Yeah. And when you talk on the CB, your avatar shows up on the other person's screen as you start talking, your avatar starts talking too.
What?
So
it lip syncs and does head track, so you can nod or shake your head or whatever, and they see what you're doing.
Yeah, like I can lift up my hand to the screen, and it'll actually like lift up like my hand like on in front of their yeah, it tracks you even on someone else's like view monitor. Like if you're waving at the view monitor, it'll like wave, like they'll see you waving at them through the little view monitor. It's pretty cool.
They need to put that in Truck Simulator, right, where you could just reach up and grab the CB.
Truck Simulator does have
Breaker
a VR,
Breaker 19.
doesn't it? I think Truck Sim
It does, but I don't
not-
think they probably don't VR the CB radio.
No. Iceberg says Absolute Territory is fun in VR, and it is. I've tried at least some of the tutorial levels, and it's quite good in VR. Honestly, I think that's one. I think that's one of those ones where you have to use the gamepad, though. I don't think it uses.
No, dude, just go steering wheel. You got it. It's good. You can. No, but seriously, racing games, dude. That's like if you have any racing games, try it.
The only one I've done so far is Project Cars 3, which I love. I love that game, and that is pretty fun in VR. I'm still getting used to it, but it's pretty fun in VR. And the stream is gone, you guys. Apparently we're offline. Now maybe we're back online. I don't know.
Yeah, Assetto Corsa is my go-to for the VR thing. But yeah, works there, works good in iRacing. It's good, just general. And I think that's going to be my solution because like I've got this wheel stand and my like Thrustmaster wheel and everything, right? Which reminds me, Hunter, you got to send me your address so I can send you that mount for that other wheel.
Okay.
But it's like it's big and it's heavy as shit. Right, it's like 100 pounds of wheel and stand and everything, and it's just to drag that thing out from the corner and then put it in front of my desk and rearrange everything. And then it's like, okay, I'll race for a couple hours, and then it's like, now I want to do something else. Oh, now I gotta pack it all back away. I just want a way to just have it out full time. So I'm thinking, well, if I just dedicate it to VR, and then I never have to put it in front of my monitors, I can sit anywhere and be good. So.
Yeah, well, if you get a Quest 2, you'll be able to do that wirelessly, and that'll help a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be in the same room at that point.
It really doesn't. A lot of my VR gaming, even when I'm playing a PC game, is not in this room. It's in my other room, which is closer to the router, so I get a better Wi-Fi signal. And I also have more space. Like when I streamed Compound the other day, I was not in this room. The only downside of that is, then you're reliant on the microphone and the headset, which is all right. It's not as good as this one.
Now, my wife was having a freak out because she thought I just said I was shipping my wheel stand, and she's looking at like $1,500 of wheel and stand and pedals and shit, and she's like, "You're not shipping that up there to him." It's like, no, it's the clip for the.
Like, it's like $20 worth of whatever. Calm down.
Yeah. God damn, that was funny though.
But there aren't a ton of space games. Rotating back to that real quick for VR, are there? There's a few. There's like Absolute Territory and Evercron and Elite and Star Wars.
House of the Dying Sun.
House of the Dying Sun.
You really need to try that in VR. It's way better in VR than it is not.
There's that tactics game.
Well, and there's
space.
And there's also VR. You can also get a bunch of what is it? What is that program that you can get where you can pretty much VRify almost anything, Jim?
Vorpx.
Yeah.
So another thing that I discovered that was pretty interesting is even without Vorpx, right? You can go in the Steam VR thing where they have that. It's like a room with a TV, right? Big screen TV, or you can do it as like a wall screen, like you're in a theater, right? And then you take whatever game that you're playing and you stream it to that screen that's in your environment, like the Hairbrain Schemes BattleTech I did it with, right? So I'm sitting in VR, I'm playing like movie theater size BattleTech in front of me, and what was interesting with it is it actually turned the 3D game stereoscopic so that I could look around things and stuff. Like if I leaned a little bit, I could see past a mech, and it was just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that because I thought it was just going to be like a flat screen deal. But it's not like VR, like head tracking is in the game or anything. you're still playing it on the wall, but it's actually, you get stereoscopic depth in the game, which is a hell of a changer for like a first person shooter or something, because you can actually tell how far things are away. It's like you play Arma and it's like, I don't know how far that is, and then you play it in VR and you're like, oh, that's 200 meters, easy. So
what's it called?
That's a thing. Vorpx is the thing that changes any game. That's a whole different animal. I'm talking about like just native to your VR headset. You can put it in. You put it in like the Steam VR environment, which is basically just like a Steam VR room, right? It's your home space that you're in. You can do that with any game. Just like stream it. It treats it as a display. So you just say, okay, play it on my virtual monitor inside my virtual room.
Is that with Vorpx or just in general?
No, that's just, you could do that right now. You don't need anything else. But then with Vorpx, what Vorpx does is interesting, because the games in VR, it's not just getting it into the headset, right? But you also have to warp the image so that the way that the lenses work, right, it kind of makes it like a fisheye lens looking thing on your computer screen, but in the VR lens it looks right. So it has to distort the image that way. And also it'll put the game in side by side mode, right? And it'll split left eye and right eye. And then it treats the Oculus as a single screen, and you'll see it on your computer monitor. It'll cut your computer monitor in half, and it'll be left eye, right eye. And you'll see like a fisheye lens on both sides, right? But when you put the headset on and that's mirrored into the headset, it looks perfect. So that at that point, it's like you can set it like, I want mouse tracking, to be head track. So then you look around to aim, although that gets pretty weary on your neck after a while. I suggest like keep using your mouse. But it's like, I played Alien Isolation that way. And man, if you thought it was like shit your pants before, you ain't even ready for this, because it's pretty great.
It supports Skyrim and Jedi Knight.
Yeah, and other thing that Vorpx does too is not just the screen distortion and the split into left and right. And also, if you're one of those people, back whenever Sony was selling 3D TVs for the living room, as the liquid crystal glasses that you had to wear and stuff, Vorpx will actually split it for that too. It'll do the interlace VR or the interlaced 3D stuff for a 3D TV. Or I didn't even realize there was 3D projectors for like living room projection theater, but they have that too. And it'll support that, although I've never met anybody that had one. But the other thing that it does is it will move the UI in games. So like if you're playing Skyrim, and it'll have stuff like down in the corners, right? Like, your inventory stuff is down there, and then your health bar is maybe like in the corner on the other side of the screen or whatever. And it'll take the interface layer and actually squeeze it into the center of the screen, so that you're not having to like look around to see, like how many hit points do I have? Well, I have to look down out of the corner of my eye and squint.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah, man.
I'm looking in the experimental features and the options in the Oculus right now. There's two things I want to read right here. This is crazy. There's an option called Bring Your Couch into VR. Place a virtual couch on your real couch so you can see and sit on it while you are in a virtual home environment. This feature allows you to use your couch as a separate seated play area in or outside of your Guardian boundary in VR. The second one,
wow.
Bring your desk into VR. Place a virtual desk in your real desk so you can see and use it while you are in a home environment. This feature allows you to use your desk as a separate work area in or outside of your Guardian boundary in VR.
Oh, thank you, virtual Jesus.
Well, there you go. Okay, wow.
Yeah, so and that probably works with the Rift S as well, right? I would think maybe.
You'll have to look.
It's an experimental feature thing. Okay, I'm going to get that thing out of the closet tonight and screw with it then.
So Vorpx,
that's deserving.
So Vorpx is $40.
Oh, it's $40, yeah. I don't know if you can get a trial of it. I think there is a trial.
I'm looking and I'm not seeing one.
Oh.
Could be wrong, But
I think there was one. It would run like 15 minutes or something or whatever. But anyways, yeah, it's basically like, do you want to screw around with old games? Do you want to play like GTA 5 in VR? Do you want to? It ain't perfect because the games weren't built for VR, but it's better than you can do just hacking at it yourself, right? Because otherwise,
I've got a virtual desk.
Oh,
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
no, you need a virtual umbrella and a chimney for that.
That was a Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm gonna have to try that now. That sounds fantastic.
Can you draw where your damn keyboard is on the desk at least?
I don't know, but at least it'll show you where your desk is.
Yes, that's a start. That's a huge start.
Oh, apparently Iceberg says the desk only works with one keyboard right now, and that's a Logitech keyboard.
Yeah.
But
it's probably got like the sensor thing.
Well,
I saw where for the Steam one, right? The Vive, like everything with Steam Vive, it's kludgy, right? So they had this attachment that you could put on your keyboard that's like the size of a freaking coffee cup. And it's just like you bolt this to the corner of your keyboard, and then the Lighthouses will detect where it is and put it in VR. And it's just like, wow, I don't know about all that. But, if I could put like a reflector thing on the corner of the keyboard, and then the IR cameras could pick it up in the Oculus, that would be sufficient, right? Like, give me two little shiny stickers. We're good. And that would, but it's like, I don't need to know where individual keys are. I just need a general area. But knowing where the damn desk is a start. Yeah. Because I could be in my chair, like completely turned around and not know. And then I turn around and I'm like sweeping shit off my desk because I don't know that it's there, right? So that, it's like suddenly I've become my cat.
The other thing that I really like about this too is the different like home environments that you can set up. Like I'm in a future cyber city right now. This is pretty fracking cool.
I love the space station, of course.
Oh yeah.
Iceberg. Okay, so we have a couple questions. First, Papageno, Jose. The Quest can run on its own. It is a standalone. That's one of the reasons I got it. It's a standalone headset. It has its own games. It's tied to your Facebook account, so you need a Facebook account to use it. But it has its own store, its own games. You don't even need a PC if you don't want to run the damn thing. But if you want to use a PC and get like a link cable or something, you can. But then you need probably a 1080, I would think. A 980 at minimum, I think.
You can actually, I think 970s are rated to even run them. So if you have some of the older graphics. Now, hold on. Let me rephrase that. If you want to hook up to your graphics card, you're going to need a graphics card, or I think you actually need a USB-C port on your graphics card. So I think
no, it doesn't have to be on your graphics card. It can be on your motherboard as well. But
okay.
if you don't have if you don't have a USB-C port, you can get a USB 3.0, USB 3 connector to USB-C for this thing, and that apparently works decently as well. But yeah, you don't need a top. I don't have a top of the line PC. Mine's almost 3 years old and runs great. I have a 2080 Ti. But it's not reliant on. Well, if you're connecting to PC games, then yes. But again, it has its own games. So like I've got a lot of games for the Quest that aren't PC games. Like what's the Vader one that you just mentioned, Hunter?
Yeah, it's Vader Immortal or whatever it is.
Yeah, I just started playing that one because they had a big Star Wars sale the other day, and so
yeah, it's pretty good. I really like it.
Yeah. And Iceberg says another fun game is Until You Fall. That's fun if you don't have a fear of heights, but if you have a fear of heights, it's not that great. I'll tell you what, this game has having VR has scared the crap out of me multiple times, just because of my fear of heights and my fear of spiders. or face.
There's also
hugger
these
things.
weird, like, you can also do like experiences. So you can go to like a nightclub in Tokyo,
Yeah,
and it's kind of strange.
there's a thing
Not
called
gonna lie.
there's a thing called Big Screen, which is in beta right now, where you can like share a virtual theater with other people and watch live events and share movies and stuff. You know, it's getting. Oh no! Until You Fall is the melee game. Yes, I have played that one. That's a very good one. It's very hard. No, what's the one? There's another one that's a climbing game. To the Top, I think it's called. That's a climbing puzzle game thing. That I'm pretty sure it's called To the Top. That I couldn't play after about 10 minutes because I fell and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like I had to stop playing the Vader game at one point because you're like crawling along a wall and you're crawling up a pipe, and next thing you know, that pipe kind of falls. And it's like, okay. I have to take the headset off now. Now, Jim, you were saying about your glasses. The Quest 2 does have a glasses spacer, and if your glasses are narrow enough,
oh, that's cool.
If your glasses are narrow enough, you could use that to and wear your glasses, which I did for a while. It was an older prescription, but I did for a while. But then I just splurged and bought prescription lenses for the damn thing, which is way better. So much better. And there are a lot of companies that make, again, big ecosystem for VR. There are a lot of people who are making prescription lenses for VR already. Wait, Spaz, you have vision issues. Did you have any issues with VR? Or is it because it's close enough to your face that it wasn't really an issue?
Yeah, it's close enough to my face that even though, legally blind astigmatism, it still worked. Okay,
well, that's good. I mean, I don't remember you having any problems with Bridge Crew.
Exactly. Yeah, it's when I've played it in VR, the thing is so close that I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I wasn't sure because, with me, I had to wear my glasses for a while, and that was a pain in the ass. It's just one more thing pressing against your face.
Now, to be clear, I do use my glasses with the PSVR.
Right, but it's big enough that it allows you to.
Yes.
And does it have a glasses spacer, or is it just big enough natively that you don't even have to use a glasses spacer?
It's wide enough natively that I don't have to worry about it.
That's pretty cool, actually. That is pretty cool. And I don't know if all of you saw, but they just announced the next wave of PlayStation VR, which sounds insane. It's going to have eye tracking, for God's sakes. The damn thing.
Which I'm still not 100% sure I understand. Like, I read what it's intended to do, but I have yet to experience issues with resolution, like issues. Because I feel like if I'm going to look at something, then I'm going to turn my head and look at it. Like, I'm not going to try and like move my eyes around inside the VR.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I know people who have that Tobii, I think it's called, that eye tracking thing. I think it's called.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh yeah, and what do you think of the eye tracking, Jim?
Okay, so it's disturbing to me whenever it's in a game and it's aiming at stuff. Like, okay, if I played Division 2, that's a great example. If I'm looking at a guy that's not in the center of my screen, right? He could be like in the corner of my screen. And then I right click to aim, it will snap that to the center of the screen. So the sights don't go up there, but it will actually turn my character to center on whatever I was looking at whenever I hit aim down sights. That's interesting. That could be a certain advantage in competitive first person games, I think, depending, but I don't so much dig it whenever they do that all the time. So it's like if I'm playing a game and if I look to the left or the right, then it actually like rotates my view over there or something. It's like, okay, at that point, I'm forced, if I want to continue looking forward, to not move my eyes around. right? So that ends up actually being the not moving your eyes actually is straining. Because it's just like you're focused on like not moving them, and it feels a lot like not blinking for a while, right? Don't dig that. But in Elite Dangerous, however, I can play Elite Dangerous without head tracking by just using my eyes, because it will, like, if I look toward the top of the screen, and this is the thing that I think they would probably do best in VR, is to emulate this kind of thing, where if you look at something, instead of like just shifting everything there, it actually pulls whatever you're looking at toward the center of the screen, right? So it's like magnetic in a way. So whenever you look up, your head doesn't immediately track that way, but if you keep looking up, your head will keep looking up, and then the thing that you're looking at will come toward the center of the screen, right? So then your eyes are already following it. So then your eyes will come to the center of the screen too. And then basically your view angle of your head in the game has followed your eyes, but it's not like using your eyes as a joystick to move your head around. It's like, if you look at what you're looking at, as that thing comes toward the center, you keep looking at it, so it's like centering your virtual joystick anyway. So that works the best. So what I could see happening in VR games would be, like, if I look peripheral vision at something, then it would try to like drag that toward the center of the view, so then it becomes my forward view, and I'm cool with that, right? But if they put UI stuff around the screen, and you're looking at the UI stuff, not the world beyond, but the eye tracker can't tell, then it's going to like move your head around when you're just trying to like look down at your health meter or something. And that's going to be obnoxious. So they'll have to put like stuff like that in the center of the screen, which they generally tend to do anyway. But like if you're screwing around with Vorpx, then video games are video games, right? Like, stuff all the info in the corner of the screen. Well, Vorpx tries to pull it more toward the middle, but it's still a thing where you got to like use eye motion to look around inside the headset. And if they start eye tracking, then that's going to become like, it's tracking my head plus treating my eyes as head tracking too. And that's going to get like really awkward real fast.
Yeah, that sounds like a vomit comet waiting to happen.
Yeah. So it depends. Like, how do they implement it? And I would be interested to see, if they say this is the way we're going, or we're going to let the user choose, or whatever. I'm generally immune to the motion sickness thing.
I was just about to ask everybody, how did everyone do with motion sickness? Jim, you keep going. And we'll talk.
No, that's fine. That's basically it. Like, you could do anything to me in VR. You can spin me upside down, like drop me off a cliff, whatever. I don't feel it in my gut. The only game that has ever made me like feel butterflies in my stomach to where I was just like, ooh, yeah, I need to not do this for a while, was actually Borderlands 1 on a monitor. For whatever reason, that game, like, and Borderlands 2 doesn't do it, but Borderlands 1, it was something about the field of view and how their stuff moved on the screen. It just made me woozy. And so I understand what people are talking about whenever they say they feel it, but that's the only place I do.
Hunter, what about you? Did you have any motion sickness issues, at least at first?
I think with me it was I think the only time I ever really had motion sickness stuff was early on, because I got my hands on a beta kit. So a buddy of mine way back in the day actually kickstarted the Oculus stuff, and so he got a beta kit, and I was able to try that out, and that was definitely a screen door effect. But like, the more you played that, the more nauseous I was feeling. But then the only other time where I ever slightly felt it, and one of the things that you learn early on is don't fight through the nausea, like stop playing. It's only going to make it worse if you try and like push through it. But like, when I got my Gen 1 Oculus after the beta, so the Gen 1 Oculus, there was what was it? I think it was this demo game called Air Car.
Yes.
And
I love that.
It's an amazing experience, but when I first got it, I felt I did get a little woozy.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
But then I think it was once I like adjusted some things with my Oculus and some other stuff, I was able to like actually get back into it and I also upped the because you can actually improve the graphics on it. It does have some graphic settings. So once I did that, it was fine. And since then, all of my VR experiences, I have not had any motion sickness. So,
And Spaz, what about you?
Well, granted, I've had fewer options as far as VR experiences than you guys had. So, for the stuff that I've played, though, no issues to speak of. Not with PSVR.
That's good. There's this thing called VR IQ, which is like a VR test that it takes you through to see if you do get motion sickness. So I tried it. And the only time I ever had motion sickness was when it was spinning really fast in the VR and I like tried to look to the side a little bit while it was spinning. I was like, my face started getting hot. I was like, yeah, okay, let's not do that. Let's just look straight ahead. And that was it. So I feel like I've been fairly lucky. And I have to say, my girlfriend has more is more susceptible. My wife, excuse me, I called her girlfriend. What the fuck? My wife.
Oh, she's still kind of your girlfriend.
Yeah, I guess.
You still take her out on dates.
She is more susceptible to motion sickness than I am, and she's played less in VR than I have, but she has not had a problem either. So I think the resolution of the Quest 2 really helps in that regard because. Apparently, from what I understand, the high resolution and the lack of whatever that was called screen door effect really helps with motion sickness, from what I understand. So I'm glad none of us. But if you're considering VR, folks, that's the thing to think about. If you have motion sickness, there are things you can do to make it better, like up the refresh rate and whatnot. But yeah, it can still be tricky. Like when I first started using it, like a lot of games have a method where to move around, it does a teleportation instead of like the kind of first person shooter movement you're seeing in the video here. And that was good to start with, but I eventually adapted to the smoother first person shooter movement. Which works really well in games like this and Compound and Until You Fall and whatnot. And there are so many good VR games out there. And there are some not so good ones. But I don't know about, I just wanted to mention one thing. When I got the damn thing, I thought I'd be gaming, but I use it more for working out than anything else. Like I work out on this thing every day. Using this thing called Supernatural.
Right. So here's what we're gonna have to do then, Brian. Is you're gonna have to get Beat Saber.
I've got Beat Saber
on Steam.
I've got Beat Saber.
Did you get it on Steam or in the Oculus?
No, I got it in the Oculus because my wife wanted to play it too, and so I didn't want her to have to deal with fucking virtual desktop and stuff. So I got it on the Oculus.
All right. Well, I have it on the Oculus as well, but we should totally multiplayer that.
Oh, you can multiplayer that
because it's. Yeah, because you could also get a slightly different workout with that too. So,
yeah.
So, do you have a treadmill or an exercise bike?
We have a gym with a treadmill in it, but we don't because of COVID. It's limited use right now.
But you can take the Oculus there, right? So
we could.
So my thought is, what you need is a game where you get on an exercise bike or a treadmill, and it can tell like how fast you're running. And then you're actually being chased by zombies or giants or a bear. And that's your motivator is like you look over your shoulder and, oh no.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to happen.
It probably already does.
Or maybe it already does. I don't know.
It'll be like zombie workout or something. Let me Google that. Let's see if that even exists.
There's a Peloton thing or something for that. But the thing I use is called Supernatural. It's similar to Beat Saber, but It's got like licensed music and actual trainers and whatnot. And I've never looked forward to working out more in my life than I do right now with Supernatural. It's actually amazing. So VR can be very beneficial. And I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed VR gaming is much more active. Like I tire out a little more quickly playing a VR game than a regular like pancake game because it's much more motion. And I think it's a mental thing as well. Like it's a little more intense. So I don't know about you guys, but I have found I can't do as long VR sessions as I can with regular pancake sessions because it's a little more tiring. Especially with games like this In Death Unchained where you're like holding up your arm all the time and like loading up arrows and stuff. And by the way, Hunter, if you don't have this game, it's amazing. So yeah, folks, you're going to see more VR on the channel. There's a game I was sent a review called, I think it's called Battle Group VR, which looks really neat. Now that I figured out how to fucking capture this stuff, which was not easy. I will tell you what, it was not easy learning how to capture VR. Well, if you want to capture it crappily, you can do it. But yeah, it took me a while to figure out how to. It took a while to figure out how to actually capture it. So you'll probably see a preview of Battle Group VR soon. And I think we're going to put Bridge Crew back on the calendar. And we'll probably put Pulsar back on the calendar as well. Because that's also, well, oh, Spaz, you can't play that in VR, can you? Because you have a.
Correct.
But I think we can still play it together.
Hold on a second.
What?
I'm looking through my Oculus library on my PC and Homeworld Remastered Collection just showed up.
What?
How does that work?
I don't know. Do you pick up the ships and move them?
That'd be funny.
I think that's how that Flotilla 2 game works, which I haven't tried yet. So yeah,
But
folks,
we could still put Pulsar back on because it doesn't require everyone to be playing in VR when you're playing it.
Like it's mixed, right? Like you could be playing Pancake and we could be playing VR. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
All right.
It's like Bridge Crew in that respect.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay, we'll definitely put Pulsar back on the calendar then as well. So folks, if you haven't gathered by now, we're all pretty happy. Well, most of us. I think Jim, you need a Quest 2. But VR has come a long way. Like I was against it for a while. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, this is stupid. And then you have a thing like the Quest 2, which is a fantastic mixture of price and power and portability, and it just kind of clicks. It's not very well. I guess it's expensive I guess it can be expensive, but like $300 for the base model for a very competent VR headset that you could use either by itself or tethered to a PC is really amazing. I mean, they're probably taking a loss because of all their Facebook money. But it's a really impressive piece of kit. And if someone like me can come around to VR, I think it's about time to check out if you've also been on the fence. Because it's when VR is done well, it's surprisingly engaging. But not all games do VR well. But when it's done well, it's amazing. It really is. There's nothing else like it. So yeah, Hunter, thank you for finally convincing me to get one of these things. It has made me healthier with all the exercise.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to look into the exercise stuff that you think you like. If it's working for you, then maybe. I should try it.
I mean, it's a monthly fee, but the thing is, they've got a lot of licensed music for everything from musicals to jazz to rock to K-pop, and they have a lot of different trainers who work with you through the workouts and different like intensities and stuff. And all the workouts take place in these beautiful places like Peru or Easter Island or whatever. So you have this gorgeous scenery as well. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. And if you have an Apple Watch or a Wear 2.0 watch, you can track your heart rate as well. So it's really amazing. So that's gonna do it for this show, folks. Next week we talk about. We did pick a topic for next week. I just can't remember what it is. Next week. What are we doing next week? Next week. We're going to talk about real-time strategy games. We really haven't talked about that genre and its ups and downs. Because there's a game that just came out recently called Five Nations, which is very similar to like StarCraft and Star Trek Armada. And it's really good. And it got me thinking, why aren't there more games like this? And that's probably because we got oversaturated with them for a while. So I think that'll be a fun thing to talk about. And tomorrow on the stream, I'm going to be playing this game called Emergency Call 112, which I believe is a European firefighting simulation. So that sounds fun. So great chat tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Again, if you're considering VR, the Quest 2, can't say enough good things about it. It's affordable. It's portable. It's versatile as hell because you can use your PC library or its own library.
Lots of accessories.
If you get it, just be aware that getting the headset might not be enough. Because you're gonna start buying other things for it if you like it. But it's worth it. It's so great. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 6 a.m. for some European fighter fighting action. Bye-bye, y'all.